Good morning. How are you? Good morning. Come on in. Okay, you guys can work on anything that is not finished or turned in yet and get it submitted. Work on your vocabulary that needs to be completed. Work on anything that's not finished. Good morning. Come on in. Work on anything that still needs to be finished or submitted. Please work on anything that you need to finish. right, let's listen to our announcements. Hang on 1 second. 1 minute, brother. All right, announcements. Here we go.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please join me in the Be Kind Pledge. I pledge to be encouraging, be supportive, be positive, be helpful, be honest, be considerate, be thankful, be responsible, be respectful, and to be a friend. Our new hoodies are on their way. Remember, we don't sell these hoodies. These Pendergast Roadrunner hoodies are only available by giveaway to folks that are doing their very best every single day, getting up early, getting on Zoom, getting their work turned in, asking for help, participating, engaging in lessons. We are watching for you. We want to get you a new hoodie, but you got to do what you're supposed to do. Let's watch and let's see who gets these hoodies. Good luck. Second trivia question from yesterday. No one got this one, and I thought this was the easier one. This is from the book Good Night Moon. If you've never read it, go ahead and pick it up if you can, or check it out online on YouTube. I guarantee you can find it. Trivia from yesterday. Lots of folks knew that this was Vin Diesel and Paul Walker from the first Fast and the Furious movie, and they are driving a Dodge Charger and a Toyota Supra. Congratulations to Alejandro from his Capco, Alexander Lopez, Marion. Let's see, we had for Miss Hofer, we had Iñaki, and we had Jeremiah from Miss Bungan, And I think those were Zaitorian, Zamaya, and Zaitalia got the answer in again, and Victor Alvarado got the answer. Congratulations to those guys. It is Wednesday, so that's American Cheeseburger and Tots Days. Coming up and grab your lunch, 10:30 to 12:30 in the morning at 6:30 to 7:45. Don't be late. They close right at 7:45 if you come early. And we hope to see you up to grab your lunch. Remember, we feed all students and children under the age of 18. You don't have to be a Pendergast student. Come on up and grab your meals. We'll see you soon. We have a few Lexia rock stars in Miss Cassie's class. Congratulations to Aiden, Francisco, Camila, Miguel, Micah, Barbara for always logging in to Lexia and always doing their very best. Let's get everyone else on this list, guys. Check out today's Lexia Superstars. We got Jasper Petty, you're a Lexia Superstar. Jaylene Rubio Amaya, you are a Lexia Superstar. Liam Gutierrez, you are a Lexia Superstar. Bella Garcia, you are Alexia Superstar. Allison Avila, you are Alexia Superstar. Alexandra Grijalva, you are Alexia Superstar. And Arlie Hernandez, you are Alexia Superstar. Yes, these look like Oreo cookies, but Miss Cabrera did the coolest thing where her class was learning about the phases of the moon. Check these out. Great job, Miss Cabrera, and all your students too. Check out how clever Michael in Miss Mary's class was. He's using Minecraft to write his sight words. I'd love to see pictures of others doing this. Check it out, video games and learning, they can go together. Attention, if you are a girl in kindergarten through 5th grade, scholarships are available for Strong Girls United virtual classes. This winter, scholarships are available for 7 weeks of virtual Strong Girl classes that begin in January and meet on Tuesdays or Wednesdays. This has a retail value of $95, and they're coached by female college athletes and involve movement and mental skills and mentorship. Contact Coach Myers if you are interested, and he can get you applied. Good morning, Pendergast staff and students. Today is Wednesday, November the 4th. We made it to Wednesday, made it midway through the week. Reminder, today is early release day. Classes are done between 12 and 12:30. Check that online early release schedule for your Wednesday schedule, and you need to know what that is. Thanks so for getting up on Zoom. I appreciate it. It's early, the sun's barely coming up, but there's no better place for you to be than right here on Zoom with your teacher in your class. Just a few announcements this morning. Again, we have some awesome things happening around campus. You saw the announcements. We have Phases of the Moon projects in 2nd grade. That is so cool. Ms. Cabrera, you are doing amazing stuff, and I'd like to see more of those hands-on projects that we could post and share on the announcements. I know we're doing them. Let's get them shared on those announcements to give students credit for their hard work and teachers credit for their hard work as well, because it takes a lot of work to put some projects together like that. So nice job. We have Strong Girl scholarships if you're K-5 female and you want to do a Strong Girl competition. See Coach Myers and talk to him about that information. Normally $95 for those courses starting in January, and we have scholarships available for girls that want to take part in that. So again, there's lots of great things happening at Pendergast. Just because we're virtual doesn't mean we can't do awesome things, and I appreciate all the hard work everyone is putting into school this year. Teachers, you have a MacBook, and we need your information and your serial number on Linda's spreadsheet that she sent out. I need that by 9 a.m. this morning. We sent a few reminders about that, and we still have a handful of folks who just haven't done that. And I'm not sure why. It's super easy. Go on the spreadsheet. She shared it again yesterday, and input your serial number next to your name so we know which device you're using. We're being audited, and that information is required by 9 a.m. this morning. So if you haven't done that, please go on right now, right during these announcements, and do that right now for us. And we'll be checking that at 9 o'clock to make sure everyone has that in. That's about all we have for you today. Make great choices. Come on up for your cheeseburgers today at 10:30, and we'll see you around very soon. Make great choices. Do the best you can, even when no one's watching, because you know why. Usually there's someone watching, so just do it anyways. And we'll see you around today. Have a great early release.
Happy Wednesdays. Let's get started here. first thing that we're going to do, I'm going to show you some information about, oops, okay, about gerunds, because it does ask you about that. And normally I do an entire lesson just on gerunds, but today's a short day, and I know Miss Rennie went over gerunds with you. So I just want to, there's a pretty cool video on it. Gerunds is a part of our grammar, and it helps us to understand how these sentences and things are put together. So I looked this one back up because I've used it before, and it's pretty interesting, at least to me, because I like language. But I looked this one up.
Functioning as a noun, the thing for which the...
So I already
Verbals.
watched it.
Verbals are verbs that act as other parts of speech. Learning about verbals will help you master sentence structure. Here are some examples of verbals.
Milton wants
Oops.
to eat cookies.
The predicate or action in this sentence is wanted. The subject or noun that takes the predicate is Milton. Milton wanted. Eat is a verb, but in this sentence it's not functioning as a verb. Milton is not eating. Milton is wanting. And to eat cookies is the thing that he wants.
Listening to music makes me happy.
Listening is a verb, but in this sentence it's not functioning as one. Makes is the predicate, and listening is the thing that makes the speaker happy. The boys played for a cheering crowd in their minds. The predicate in this sentence is played. The boys played. Cheering is being used as an adjective to describe the crowd. These are verbals. We're going to be looking at three types of verbals. The first, gerunds. Gerunds are the ing form of a verb, and they're acting as a noun. Here is an example of a gerund.
Calvin loves playing baseball.
So what is the action or predicate in this sentence?
So if you notice, these are all
It's
verbs.
loves. Loves is the predicate. Kelvin is the subject, the noun that takes the predicate. Kelvin loves. So playing baseball is a verb, but in this sentence, it's functioning in terms of sentence structure as a noun.
Because
It's a
you add
thing
the
that
ing.
Kelvin loves. Infinitives. Infinitives always start with to, followed by a verb, and they act as a noun or an adjective. Here's an example of an infinitive.
The delivery man was waiting to drop off the package.
To drop.
What is the action or predicate in this sentence? It's was waiting. Verb phrase, was waiting. The delivery man was waiting. So the delivery man is the subject, was waiting is the predicate. To drop off is a thing that the delivery man was waiting for. So even though dropping off is a verb, in this case, it is functioning as a noun, the thing for which the delivery man was waiting. Participle. Participle is an ing or ed form of a verb, and it acts as an adjective. Here is an example.
The baby, tired from a long day of play, cried without end.
What is the action or predicate in this sentence? It's cried. The baby cried. Tired from a long day of play is a participle phrase that is describing the baby. Since we're talking about participles, now is a great time to mention the infamous dangling participle. A dangling participle is when you start a sentence with a participle that does not refer to the subject. Participles don't always have to refer to the subject, but when you start a sentence with one, they do. So avoid using dangling participles. They will create glaring errors in meaning. Here's an example of a dangling participle.
Steaming from the heat, the baseball player carefully sipped his hot cocoa.
Take a second and think about what this sentence is actually saying. Well, it's clear that the speaker meant to describe the hot cocoa, to say that the hot cocoa was steaming from heat. and that the baseball player carefully sipped it. But the way that this sentence is arranged, the participle describes the subject, in this case, the baseball player. So steaming from the heat is describing the baseball player. This sentence is saying that the baseball player was steaming from the heat, not the hot cocoa. So watch out for these. Beginning a sentence with a participle is a great way to add some description in your writing. So just remember, when you start a sentence with a participle phrase, it has to apply to the subject. Here are some more examples of verbals.
Polly was playing for a screaming crowd.
What is the verbal in this sentence, and what type of verbal is it? First, we should identify the predicate. In this case, was playing. Who was playing? Polly. Polly was playing. We have an additional verb here, screaming. Screaming is not the predicate in this sentence. Rather, it is a verbal. And in this case, it's a participle. Participle is a verb that is acting as an adjective. Screaming is describing the crowd. So while screaming is a verb, in terms of sentence structure, in this sentence, it is functioning as an adjective. Here's another example of a verbal.
Sharkman wanted to fight a surfer.
What is the verbal in this sentence, and what type of verbal is it?
Does anybody know?
Well, the predicate in this sentence is wanted. Sharkman wanted. To fight is a thing that Sharkman wants. Fighting is a verb, but to fight is an infinitive. A verb with to acting as a noun or an adjective, and in this case, it is acting as a noun. It is a thing that Sharkman wants. And here's one more example of a verbal.
Iverson Cohen sure cheers up Farmer Brown.
What is the verbal in this sentence, and what type of verbal is it?
What is it? It's at the beginning of a sentence.
Well, the predicate in this sentence is cheers. We ask ourselves, what cheers to find a subject? And it's harvesting. Harvesting cheers. So harvesting is a verb, but in terms of sentence structure, in this sentence, harvesting is functioning as a noun, which makes it a gerund, an ing form of a verb that is acting as a noun. In review, verbals act as nouns or adjectives. They're still verbs, but in terms of sentence structure, they're functioning as other parts of speech. Participles act as adjectives. Participle is an ed or ing form of a verb acting as an adjective or describing a noun or pronoun. Gerunds act as nouns. The gerund is an ing form of a verb, and they always act as nouns. Infinitives usually act as nouns. And to form an infinitive, we use the word to and a verb.
Okay, so this will go on the Google site because I know that you'll have to refer back to it. It should help you understand gerunds as you are working on your assignments. Okay, are there any questions about that? Anyone worried or concerned? It should help you out. And we'll go over this some more because you're going to be putting it in your journal. All right.
So is this like an introduction to it or what?
Yeah, because I know that you guys learned it last year, and Miss Rennie is really good at showing you guys what these gerunds and infinitives are. So it's just a review, but I'll go over it some more when we have more time. And I'll also put my notes into the Google Classroom for you so that it'll help you to remember.
All right, cool. No, I was just curious.
So this will all be there for you. Right now, we need to go to the book. And in chapter 6, you're going to need to reread it again, but I'm going to go through it quickly just so that you have information to go and do the forms for today. So in chapter 6, Michael Pollan is talking about processed food. And the way that he structures this is that he has the main title, then he has different sections that he puts the story together with in order to have you focus specifically on that information. So first he talks about splitting the kernel and the process of going through splitting the kernel in order to have the processing plants or the industrial farming plants get the important parts of the corn out of the shell part, how to process that corn. And then he talks about the industrial digestion, what goes through the digestion process. And he breaks it down into steps. And these are bullets so that you know specifically what he's talking about for each of those areas. So when he structured his text, he wanted to make sure that you focused on specific things. Each of those subtitles has what he wants you to look at. Then he breaks it down with bulleted items that are very specific. He also uses diagrams and images to help you see, visualize what he's talking about. So the structure of this nonfiction text is also important. He also uses diagrams with information in it, cartoons to make it fun for kids, and pictures that describe. So the structure of his text is to draw you in and make you see what he's talking about. Cereal secrets, another subheading. He also has the sources that he uses for the diagrams. So you can go to Hostess and find out what is in a Hostess Twinkie. Keep going. And then he has a diagram that breaks down the parts of the dollar bill and where it goes. That goes along with when he's talking about how the farmer gets so much money for whole foods rather than processed foods, but the companies, those industrial companies, get more money no matter what they sell or how they sell it. Then he talks about, can you eat more, please? This is where the food companies are trying to boost their sales by enticing you to eat more. So how do they do that? Michael Pollan tells you how people start buying more things, supersizing. They supersize their products. They give you those add value information. Well, if you eat this, you get more vitamins. If you eat that, your taste buds will explode with flavor. So added value comes in as well. Okay. And then we get into chapter 7, which is more information that is diagrammed. Basically, you need to read chapter 6 and chapter 7 in order to see what he's talking about that relates to processed food and how it affects us as people. Are there questions about that?
So it's just a reread?
Yeah, you guys are going to have to reread. So everybody should have their books. And then we're going to have a little discussion. I'm going to put you in a breakout room to do one of the worksheets. So here's your assignment, lesson 6. Right now, I would like you to go to the entrance ticket, which is the first one there. Open that one up. And this is why you need your book, because you're going to be looking for chapter 6 or 7 and find this sentence. And when you find the sentence, I think this is in chapter 7, find the sentence and then find which relevant evidence supports that sentence. Okay? Relative evidence supports this sentence. So open up your text, go to the library, and open up your text and go to chapter 7, 6 or 7. 7, chapter 7, and find that sentence. I'm going to tell you it's in extra calories under the subheading of extra calories. So open
The
your,
one where it says extra calories or whatever.
yeah, it's under the title of extra calories.
All right.
So your choices are by explaining why farmers are to blame for the obesity and diabetes epidemic, by providing evidence that shows an increase in the calories we consume, by providing evidence that supports the need for high calorie foods, by explaining why farmers have produced more fattening foods. So what is Poland actually talking about? Since 1970, farmers in the United States have managed to produce 500 additional calories per person per day. And if you look at that page, it's telling you something specific. Can somebody read that, please? Since 1970, that's where it starts. Volunteers before I call. Just a little paragraph. Malachi, please read.
Since 1970,
Can't hear you.
it's that one part in the middle, right? Since
Yeah.
1970, farmers in the United States have managed to produce 500 additional calories per person per day.
Okay. Keep going.
Keep going.
Yeah.
By explaining why farmers are to blame for the obesity and diabetes epidemic. By providing evidence that shows an increase in calories we consume.
What? No, I'm talking about in the book. Do you have the
In the
book?
book.
Yeah.
No, I do not. Forgot to tell you that I actually can't sign into that one website because my computer keyboard doesn't let me type in my username. It's kind of annoying.
Okay, you're gonna need the book in order to finish this unit. Okay.
Yeah.
All righty. Let's see. Who has their book open? Guys, you're gonna need your books. And I know people are dropping out of class, which means they're gonna be absent.
I have mine open, so if you want me to go.
Thank you, Raphael.
So what part again?
So since 1970, it's in the middle of the page.
Oh, okay, I see it. Since 1970, farmers in the United States have managed to produce 500 additional calories per person every day. The average person needs about 2,000 calories a day, but that number varies greatly depending on your age, size, and amount of exercise. Where are those extra calories going? Some are sold overseas, some are turned into ethanol for our cars, but a lot of them are going into us. An awful lot of those extra corn calories are being eaten as high fructose corn syrup. Not surprisingly, HFCS is the leading source of sweetness in our diet.
Okay, excellent. So what is he saying here? Anybody? What is he saying about this high fructose syrup and
I
all?
think he's just trying to say that it's like getting bad for us and like yeah, it like puts some sweetness into like our diet or whatever, but like it's not exactly like the healthiest option.
Exactly. He's saying these companies are adding extra sugar where extra sugar is not needed. We're only supposed to take in a certain amount of calories, but the companies are boosting those calories because what happens when you eat a lot of sweets? You end up getting a lot of energy all of a sudden, and then you crash. And when you crash, you get tired, you don't feel well, you need another boost. So, what do? You go eat some more sugar, you eat something that's sweet, and then you get another rush of energy. And then what happens? What happens? You have another crash, and it's a vicious cycle. And the more you eat of their food, the chubbier you get, especially if you're not a person who goes and works out. And it may not show when you're young, but as you get older, all those calories start building up. And they build up and they build up until you end up having other issues like diabetes or some other health issue. So, reading this, pick your answer, and it's just one sentence. How does the following quotation of the omnivore's dilemma contribute to developing the concept that America has an obesity and diabetes epidemic? The United States have managed to produce 500 additional calories per person per day. What is the answer? Why? Okay. Kaylee, the book is on the school site, Destiny Quest. So if you want, I can pull that up so you can see how to get in there. You need your student ID.
So that like the one that I was like the page 93 or like that question I was like asking of us, is that the one that we had to answer with the book?
Yeah,
All
right. You're just telling how this works. What happens to us? So Kaylee, you have to go to the Pendergast website, and then you're gonna go to the bottom and click on Destiny Quest book search. Then go to Pendergast Elementary. Put in your school ID number and then your birth date. If you have a 0 in front of the month, don't put the 0. Okay? You're welcome. Anyone else that doesn't have a book, you need to go to this site and check out the book. And today you are reading chapter 6 and chapter 7. You can't answer the questions without it. Are there any questions for me?
So when we read the both chapters to answer the question, could we to support an answer or whatever, do we just like go back in the text and see if like something helps to
Yeah,
support it?
yes.
All right.
Go back to the text to see what supports it. So once
And
you
what also are those like things I said by explaining, by providing or whatever?
on the entrance ticket,
Yeah, it says by explaining, by providing.
it's just basically answering the question. This happens 500 additional calories per person by day per day. With this statement, Michael Pollan is explaining why farmers are to blame, or he's providing evidence that shows an increase in the calories we consume. This is what he's doing. Which,
Okay.
okay,
Also, like that's what the author is doing. Like that's what he's saying in his book to support that claim.
yes.
Right.
So this would be his supporting evidence, his supporting information. This is the claim that he's making. This is the evidence that is supporting it. Okay. All right, let's take a look at the other forms real quick. I don't know if we're going to have time. This one we're supposed to answer as in small groups, and you're just going to fill this in, answer the questions. And it says to put it on your anchor chart, but I actually want you to write it at the bottom or beside the questions here, okay? So I'm trying to get us to the point where we can fill that in, but you all need your books because you can't answer it without your books. This one is information for you. It just gives you information of what Michael Pollan is talking about in the text on those pages. So it's like a synopsis or a summary of what's going on. So this is something for you to keep just for information. And the last one, this is the one that has you rewriting or writing the sentences with complete thoughts, making it complete. So some people read the first one on page 92 and see how he starts this and then they add another part. You want to have the start and then you're going to finish by putting your own independent clause, which is a piece of a sentence that could stand by itself. So some people say students shouldn't have cell phones, but what would be an independent clause that could stand by itself? An independent clause is a complete sentence that's being added to another complete sentence. Does that make sense? Okay, I hope that it makes sense. This last part on page 216, again, they have part of a sentence, then they added another part of a sentence to it. but it's a gerund phrase. This is where you turn a verb, add ing to make it a gerund. So this one, when people know about their food, they start considering quality and not just price. So considering, you have your verb, you add ing, this is your gerund. So you want to underline this and put gerund on the top. That way you know it's a gerund. And then you're going to complete this sentence using a gerund phrase. So that means you need something with an ing and a verb. Okay? Jacqueline, how do you feel about that?
I mean, it seems pretty easy.
Seems pretty easy? Okay. Whatever you do, when you complete this sentence and this sentence here, this one's an independent clause, but this one needs to be a verb plus an ing word. So I start something, and then you have to have a verb with an ing in it. Okay?
Can you say like an example?
If you're going to do a gerund, you might say something like, I start brushing my teeth for the day.
Oh, just like you can just make up whatever, but it has to be like a verb and an ing word.
It has to be a verb with ing, yes. Okay, something that you do with ing.
I thought it had to be like just one thing in specific. Like you can, like you said, you told us, oh, it can only be this, and you all have to do the same thing.
Exactly. Okay. The important thing is that when you start is your action verb, it's what you're doing. Okay. Start is your action verb. The next verb that you have has to have an ing with it. So I start studying for class. I start preparing my lunch. Preparing, ing. Prepare is an action plus ing makes it a gerund. Does that make sense? Because start is your action verb. The gerund is telling what you're doing with that start, okay? I start.
What's an example? What's an example of like an independent clause, or like can you just like review it a little bit?
Independent clause would be, I'm not going to use cell phones. So if you have a sentence that starts with, we went to the mall to shop, but the stores were crowded because it was Christmas. So if you take just the second part after the but, the stores were crowded because it was Christmas is an independent clause. It's a complete sentence. You're just adding that part to we went to the store to go shopping with a transition word of but.
So you just like you just add on something after the independent clause.
Yes.
All right.
But it has to be a complete sentence. It can stand by itself. So if you take all of this away, all the way to the but, Your sentence can stand by itself. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So this part can stand all by itself. Some people say students shouldn't have cell phones. You could put a period there, and that would be a complete sentence. You're making it a bigger sentence by putting two sentences together. So this is a sentence, and this is a sentence. Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So we have like 8 minutes. Please tell me now if you do not have a book. Because we're supposed to do this, which means you need to talk to each other. Just put it in the chat. Yes, I have a book, or no, I don't have a book.
Wait, what do you mean have a book? Like have a specific book? Or just
The
like have a
book
book laying
we're
around?
reading.
Because again, I can't access that. It's weird. I feel like I like it. I think I have to like log in for me to get it, but I can't log in.
Okay. Kaylee, it's the omnivore's dilemma. Put that in the search, okay? If you got in, the omnivore's dilemma. So far I know 3 people have the book. Malachi, if I put you in a group, you're gonna have to just, somebody will have to share the text with you, and you guys go through chapter 6 and chapter 7 and look at these different types of books, okay? Types of text structure, key concepts. What are the main points that the author is talking about? You need to be able to answer these questions using the book. Try to refresh the page, Kaylee, and see if you can find it, but you have to be logged in. All right, I'm gonna put you guys in groups. You're supposed to have the book open. At least a couple of you need to have the book open, and you need to be able to read and look at that information. Um, it's not just the page number, Jimena. You're looking at those 2 chapters, chapter 6 and chapter 7. What do you see that the author has written that story in? Okay. 5, that should be 3 of you. All right. Here we go. Go to your breakout rooms. Alessandra, are you there?
So I almost passed out first.
All right. When do you guys have a break?
No.
You have a break right now? Did you guys talk at all?
I mean, yeah.
Okay, because I went into a couple and no one was saying anything. Um,
That's
Now we
why.
figured out what assignments we had to do. Like not what assignments, but like we figured out exactly which ones, like what
Wait,
questions we have to
figure
answer.
out. Gotta figure out what assignments gotta do.
you didn't
Well, we
chapter.
still talked at least.
Okay, so you did get to chat, right?
Yep.
But you chat about the assignment.
What assignment? I wasn't here. I overslept.
Okay.
Told me nothing.
Christian, pay attention.
I overslept. Okay, so I got in here late.
It's the questions on the jigsaw directions. You're supposed to be answering those questions.
So it's like jigsaw type of puzzle, like thing. No.
Yeah,
It's
jigsaw
not what
puzzle, but you're not doing a jigsaw puzzle. You're
On
talking
this.
about the book.
It's just a minimal assignment.
Yeah.
I thought we were do a puzzle.
Christian, it's all good. I slept like 40 minutes past when I'm actually supposed to. I'm supposed to wake up at 7, but I woke up at 7:40.
Bro, I woke up at 9.
All right, guys. Everybody just go to Google Classroom, sign in, do the assignments, and make sure you write your information on that page, okay? And if you have questions, let me know. It's chapter 6 and chapter 7 that you're looking at. Sound good?
Yeah, for the most part, we just like write down our information, select the questions.
Okay. Yep, that's it. All right.
Okay.
I'll see you later.
All right, see you later.
Bye-bye.
Hold on.
Okay.
When
Huh?
Noah told me that there was another class that was like all classes, you could see like all like the agendas.
There's another class where you can see the agendas?
Yeah, like Wednesday. You know, like all
Oh,
that.
the
Yeah,
schedule.
I don't have that.
Here, let me show you where it's at, okay?
Okay.
All right, let me go back to here. So when you log into Google Classroom, you're gonna see this 8th grade all classes.
Yeah, I'm saying that I don't have that.
You
I
don't
don't
have,
have that.
okay,
Yeah.
write this code down and sign in. Do you have a pencil and paper?
Yeah, hold on. You can take a picture if you want me to.
Okay, go ahead. But that's the code that you need to get into the daily agenda, okay?
All right, I just took a screenshot. Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. I'll see you later.
Yeah.
Jimena, are you there?
Yes.
Do you have a question?
Sorry to get loud. It's because like I'm really confused. Like it's asking, it's like about what we're doing, but like I'm confused. Like what should we write about? Like what type of paragraph?
Are you talking about the
The jigsaw.
The jigsaw? Okay, the questions are already there. And you're looking, do you remember how I just, I went through and I showed you guys the title and the subtitles and the
Yes.
images? That's all you're doing. And the key concept is, what do those things mean in the story? What is their purpose?
So we're gonna basically write about the one of the graphs or the pictures shown about the
Yeah. So the illustrations, the purpose or the key concept of the illustrations is to give you a deeper understanding of what Michael Pollan
Jamie, you should be up
researched.
next to ya.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay, perfect. And
Oh, okay.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's all you're doing is you're breaking that text down to see why he wrote it that way, what makes it important, what is
Okay.
the key concept behind it. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Miss Up.
You bet. Anytime. See you later.
See ya.